and hence they're 4 times more likely to attempt suicide in Massachusetts high schools, and over 3 times more likely to skip school. Well, what would you do?
Right.
If you went to work every day and people made fun of you.
Or putting you down and not welcoming you and feeling that you're other or you're wrong or you're different. I mean, who would want to be in a place like that?
And you don't see any examples of positive examples of who you know yourself to be.
Right.
What would you do?
Would you want to be part of that? Absolutely not. Now a lot of even companies have really created a lot of wonderful, inclusive, supportive diversity policies. We're going to have on State Street Bank in a couple of weeks, and they have created a whole affinity groups around GLBT organizations and activities, and to really not only tolerate, who wants to be tolerated, but to be celebrated and appreciated. And the retention rates in companies go way up, so it's no surprise that the retention rates in schools, if you feel like you're part of a school, that you contribute, that you matter, you're going to show up. You're going to participate, you're going to get better grades, and you're going to avoid the risk behaviors.
Exactly. Right, and we go into corporations as well to talk with parents who are in the workplace, and we're in the process of working on creating support groups for parents in the workplace, because we know how busy they are and how important it is for them to get educated and to learn from other parents. So working on that as well.
Oh, that would be critical. That would be really neat. And Blue Cross Blue Shield does a lot of those things, really creates the supportive environment in their workplace so people feel like they can get that education, get that support to be a better parent, to better support their children, their friends, their families.
Yeah, and I mean, with the statistics around gay youth, with 4 times more likely to attempt suicide,
scary.
It's not being gay that makes you want to kill yourself.
No.
It's the environment around you. So we found, in the Department of Education has found that when you change the school environment, all of the risk behaviors for gay youth are significantly reduced.
Wow.
So suicides are reduced, attempted suicides, abuse of substances, skipping school. When the schools do training with their students and with their faculty and talk about anti-gay language, then those kids are fine. When you change the environment that they walk into, then it changes who they are and the behaviors they choose.
Absolutely.
Which makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. And as we talk about kind of images and the way young adults are influenced, we'd like to show a clip of a film. It's a documentary film that talks about how parents and how they deal with really their child coming out.
Right.
I'd like to say a little bit about the film.
Yeah, it was funded and supported by Susan Polish-Schutz, who, if you know the Blue Mountain greeting cards
They're
that
great
are in
cards,
Hallmark
yes.
stores. She has a gay son,
Okay.
and she wanted to start this conversation about the process that parents go through. And this documentary, it's 1 hour, and it shows parents from all different races, cultures, religions, and the response they had when their child told them they were gay or lesbian.
Oh, how
it's
neat.
incredibly powerful.
Wow, and I bet it's great because not everyone can go to a PFLAG meeting. I know there's 6 in Boston, but just to be able to have the video, and I know there's a clip on the website as well, and we're going to show a clip as well, just to show people what the film is about, but to have that as a resource where people can say, okay, I can order this if they're in that initial stages of, I'm not sure what's going on, let me check out the resources. They have this to say, wow, other people struggled with it.
Right, and we're also creating community events around the documentary so that parents and community members can come to the local church or the local school.
That's a great idea.
And watch the film together and have discussions. Or Gay Straight Alliances, the students in that can invite their parents to come to an evening event to watch the documentary. It's incredibly powerful.
Right, because you just need to feel other people around that are struggling with the same thing or trying to be supportive around the same thing. You know, if you're looking to buy a home, it's just so interesting and reassuring to hear, like, you're struggling with this part of it. Oh, you've been to see this many houses and you haven't found one. Or, you know, what mortgage broker are you using? There's something very powerful around the supports.
Yeah, and it's not, I want to just be clear that it's not always a struggle, because there are parents who are already accepting that can also go to PFLAG and help us change the environment for their child. So they become advocates for their child and to change the schools, to change, to fight for equal marriage, and to really change the world so it is safer and more welcoming for their child. So there's a space for everyone in in PFLAG.
That's a critical point, that there's a spectrum, and a lot of people can help people move further along.
Exactly.
And that's our motto here at Employment for All, is that everyone can be successful with the right support, so determining what level of support that person needs to be successful.
Right.
So maybe this is a good time to kind of show the clip, to see what, if we can, to see what, a little bit more about the clip, because it's one thing to explain it, but it'd be nice to see. That would be great.
Okay.
But as they're queuing up the clip, then we could talk about a little bit about you were talking about community events. You're having a big Pride and Passion party coming up.
Right, the 7th Pride and Passion Party fundraiser for our Safe Schools and Communities project, and we announce our scholarship winners there. So we also give away scholarship money to students around the statewide throughout Massachusetts, young people who have made a difference in their schools. So.
And I'm just gonna, Pam, we did start the clip.
Okay.
So
I was home, it was just an ordinary day, and he said, "Oh, let's go sit on the couch. There's something I need to talk to you about." So he just came out with it. There was no preparation for it.
You begin thinking all again of the dreams you've dreamed for your child. And this was not one of your dreams. This was not in the plan of life you had hoped for your child.
I would sort of consider myself liberal, but when it came into my backyard and it was my son, then it was like I realized I was a little bit hypocritical.
The moment had come. I think he simply could not anymore feel like he was hiding who he was from his family. So he reached over and turned the radio off and said the 10 words that changed my life. "Mom, have you ever wondered if I might be gay?"
I certainly felt a lot of shame in my early teenage years, especially when I was very active in the church. Because that's what they were telling you, that it was to be ashamed of, that it was horrible, that it was all of these terrible, terrible things. But you know, when you're 12, 13, 14 years old, you go home and you think, wow, boy, am I all those things that they said? We're descendants of the founders of the Mormon Church, some of the original prophets, and so the church was kind of a big part of our lives. We have a large extended family in Salt Lake City still, and a lot of our social activities and things that we did revolved around the church growing up.